What's up, guys? Nate Morris, MasterLSAT.com. In this video, we are going to look at Prep Test 90, Section 2, Logical Reasoning, question number 20. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to read the question. The question says, each of the following, if true, would contribute to an explanation of the repressor's characteristics mentioned in the paragraph, except. So in other words, we're going to read a paragraph that tells us something about repressors, whatever that means, we'll find out. And 4 of these answers are going to explain why things are the way they are, and one of them is not. So what does the paragraph say? The paragraph says a psychologist used a personality test to classify high school students as either repressors or sensitizers. Repressors are people who repress upsetting thoughts and feelings. They kind of just bury everything within themselves from conscious awareness. And sensitizers are people who are very attuned to internal states and freely express distress. They're kind of way more open about their feelings, right? Repressors are more repressing their feelings, right? Sensitizers are more open about their feelings. Makes sense. The researcher found, here's the results of the experiment, that compared to sensitizers, the repressors were better off in several ways. They were less shy, less anxious, they could better tolerate frustration, they had better social skills, they had higher grades, and they had more self-esteem. So that's a bunch of ways that the repressors are better off. And we have to look through the answers. And 4 of these answer choices, the 4 wrong answers, are going to contribute to an explanation of why the repressors are better off. We want to find answers that tell us, here's why the repressors had better situation in one of these 6 ways. Either they had better social skills, higher grades, whatever. It has to explain one of these things, right? And the one right answer, I guess, is the one that's not going to explain anything, right? So each of the following explains why the repressors were better off in one of these 5 or 6 ways, except for the one that we're looking for. So let's go ahead, look through the answers, and look for the one that doesn't answer the question, why are repressors better off than sensitizers? A tells us that repressors are better than sensitizers at focusing on their work and avoiding distractions. Well, that definitely answers the question of why they are better off than sensitizers in one of these ways, right? One of these things mentioned in the paragraph is that repressors get higher grades at school, right? So A tells us here's why they get higher grades at school, because they're better at focusing on their work. They're better at avoiding distractions. So therefore, this answers the question of why repressors are better off than sensitizers in one of these ways mentioned in the paragraph, and therefore it's the wrong answer. B definitely answers the question of why repressors are better off, which is what we're trying to do in this question, right? B says repressors are less likely than sensitizers to alienate people by expressing their emotions, right? So B would explain why the repressors are better off, why they would have better social skills, better interactions, perhaps better self-esteem because people like them more. So B gives us a way that repressors are better, right? B tells us that they're going to be less likely to alienate people, and therefore that might explain why they are better off in some of these ways that we mentioned in the paragraph. So therefore B is one of the wrong answers. C tells us that parents and caregivers tend to reward repressors more than they reward sensitizers for good academic performance and good social behavior, which means that repressors get more incentivized for doing well at school and socially, right? So therefore, that does answer the question. Here's a reason why repressors are better off. According to C, repressors are more often rewarded for good behavior, which would incentivize them to continue on that good behavior. That would explain why they have better social skills and better academic performance, because their parents, their caregivers tend to reward them for doing well at those things, which would incentivize them to continue to do well at those things. So this does answer the question, why are repressors better off, specifically at social skills and academic performance, right? So therefore, this is going to be one of the wrong answers because it gives us a reason why repressors are doing better than sensitizers. D tells us that some psychologists have come up with this hypothesis that maybe the desire to maintain social and academic success and self-esteem strengthens repressors' tendency to be a repressor, to repress upsetting thoughts and emotions. Now, this does not answer the question of why repressors are doing better. So therefore, this is the right answer. All the other 4 answer choices answer the question. Here's a reason why repressors are doing better. D just says that there's this theory that some psychologists have. So first of all, it's not even necessarily true. It's just a theory that some psychologists have. So number one, it's not even necessarily giving us something that is factually true. But number two, even if this was true, what D is saying, even if this was true, all this tells us is that repressors' desire to be successful, to maintain the success that they have at these things, kind of strengthens their tendency to be a repressor. But that doesn't tell us why they became so successful in the first place, right? All the other four answer choices give us a reason why repressors are doing better than sensitizers at school or socially or in self-esteem, etc. D just says that they have this desire to maintain that success level, which causes them to be more of a repressor. But it doesn't tell us why being a repressor made them successful to begin with. Why are they more successful? We still don't know according to D. And therefore, D is the right answer. D does not contribute to an explanation of why repressors are doing so well, and the other four answer choices do. E tells us a reason why repressors might be doing better than sensitizers, and therefore it's one of the four wrong answers. E tells us that sensitizers tend to focus more than repressors do on the difficulties of succeeding in their tasks rather than on factors that are likely to actually help them succeed, right? So according to E, sensitizers more often than repressors ignore things that would help them succeed. They rather focus on the difficulties, and they don't focus on things that are going to help them succeed, as opposed to repressors, according to E, who are more likely to focus on things that are going to help them succeed. So E answers the question of why repressors might be doing better, because according to E, they're more likely to focus on things that are going to help them succeed, as opposed to sensitizers, who are just going to focus on the difficulties, and they're not going to focus on the things. They're going to push them forward. And so therefore, E does answer the question in one way of why repressors are doing better than sensitizers, and therefore this is one of the wrong answers. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit subscribe. And for thousands more clear LSAT explanation videos, go to masterlsat.com.